Hello, everybody, especially the body. It's a wonderful, amazing day today, and we have Alma Martinez in the side chat, and she's from California. Anyway, we have my co-host Taylor Wolfman from Florida, USA. How's everything going, Taylor?
Everything's going fantastic, Catherine. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries at all. And we're going to talk about your religious past and how you came into the truth and how God called you into the body of Christ. So I'm really excited to see what you've actually got to say and how you came into the truth. So you're all ready for the question?
Yes, ma'am, whenever you are.
Yeah. So I know you were involved in a lot of different religious um, things. Is that correct? You're involved in a lot of religions?
Yes, I have been dragged through pretty much every single spiritual and religious group you could possibly name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tell us which ones, what they all are, and a bit about all of your experiences in them.
All right, well, I guess the best place to start would be with the religion I grew up in. I was
Mm-hmm.
raised as a Reformed Jew to a
Yeah.
Jewish father and a formerly Baptist mother. She converted to Judaism to marry my dad. And growing up, I wasn't really all about
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
any sort of religious goings. I
Mm-hmm.
really didn't enjoy Sunday school. I didn't enjoy Hebrew study or attending any sort of the events at the temple, but I did love talking to God in the privacy of my own room. I felt a very deep connection with God from a very young age. And
Mm-hmm.
then as I got older,
Yep.
I went through that sort of, I guess you could say, intermittent phase where you start to question everything that you believe.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I went from believing in God to trying to think of the
Mm-hmm.
exact line of events, but it went from
Mm-hmm.
believing in God to sort of atheism. It
Yeah.
started there, but the atheism
Yeah.
lasted very, very short amount of time. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't stick with it because, again, I've had a very strong connection with God ever since I was young, and the atheism stuff just never really sat well with me. I couldn't
Right.
I couldn't find peace with that. So I went to
So
agnosticism.
it started in atheism. Can't say it. Did
Yep.
it start there? So you're born into that, were you?
I was born more into like a lax view of religion because that's what Reform Judaism is. It's split into
Mm-hmm.
three subgroups, I would say. There's Orthodox, which is observing the law as if you're a Pharisee. Everything needs to be just so, and it needs to be
Yeah.
done today.
Yeah.
Then you have conservative Judaism, which is still observant but a little bit lax. And then you have Reformed Judaism, which is basically Jew in name only. You don't
Mm-hmm.
really, you aren't at all required to follow all of
Mm-hmm.
the whole law of Moses. You are not even
Yeah.
really required to celebrate all of the holidays, but we did celebrate the holidays. I will say that we celebrated Passover and
Mm-hmm.
Yom Kippur and
Mm-hmm.
Rosh Chodesh with my dad's side of the family. And then with my mom's side of the family being Christian, we would celebrate Christmas and Easter
Okay.
Sunday and Good Friday with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a general knowledge of Judaism and Christianity
Oh,
before
wow.
I
So
ever
it's
came
kind
into
of
the
like
church.
mixed a bit, was it? Was it kind of like mixed in with each other kind of thing? Like you got the side of the Judaism and then you got the side of the Christianity type thing. Is that how it worked for you?
Yeah, I would say so. I was very, very close with my maternal grandfather, who was
Mm-hmm.
a religious man. He
Mm-hmm.
would always talk to me about God and
Yep.
would always be very accepting of my Jewish roots. And he would
Mm-hmm.
be the one that I would go to hear about God in general, because my
Yeah.
my dad's side of the family, although they did celebrate and hold close all of the Jewish customs and traditions. I never really got a real understanding about God from them. It was more about the culture and how one was to conduct oneself. But when it came to spiritual things, that was more my mom's side of the family.
So I'm trying to get this. So you were born into were you born into atheism or into Judaism to begin with, and then the Judaism and the Christianity came in a little later, or I'm just trying to
No, I would
understand
say I
where it
was born more into Judaism, into a Judeo-Christian
makes
family, and then
sense. Makes sense.
once I hit middle school and high school, that's when the
Gotcha.
questions started. So I hit atheism for just a teeny tiny bit because it's not cool to believe in God. You have all of the Christian talking points come up, like, well, how could you believe in a God that damns 90% of his own creation? I didn't have good answers at the time, so I thought to myself, oh, well, this must be man-made because there's no way a all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving God would, one, do these things and have so many contradictions. So I fell into that for a very short amount of time. Then I went into agnosticism, where I was like, you know what? I don't know what the truth is, but there has to be a higher power.
Yeah.
And then from there, my friend
How
group
old
all
were
throughout.
you? How old were you when you stopped getting yourself involved in Christianity, and what made you stop getting into that and go, I don't really like this anymore, or I'll try this or whatever?
To be honest, I think I officially started to get into Christianity in 2022, maybe the very beginning of 2023, because for the longest time I was very opposed to Christianity when I was going through my more liberal state. Like, you would see the videos of all of these people talking about how this group of people is hated by God, how they're going to hell, and just none of it made sense. All of the videos that involved Christianity were painted in a horrible light because of the people that were preaching it. And at the time, I was watching this atheist show. I forget what the name of it was, but one of the hosts, Aaron something, I would watch him, and he would have religious people call in and try to prove God, but he was firmly on the side of atheism. So I would watch and listen to him, and he sounded like he had these great, well thought out arguments for how the Christian God couldn't possibly exist. And if he did, there was no rational reason to follow him.
Yeah.
And
Just
I
one
fell into that.
second. I think that sound check, everybody. What do I sound like? Do I sound a little bit off? Taylor, do you think I sound a little bit off? Because Tony is saying that I sound a little bit off with my sound or something.
You sound a little bit scratchy, but I'm still able to understand what you're saying.
So it's not too bad.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
really
horrible.
strange. Oh, that's really strange. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, I'll continue because there's nothing I can do about it at this stage because I'm on live. So, all right. So, where were we? We're talking about you being involved in Christianity and why you got out of it. And then after Christianity, what were you saying before? You went into what, a religion?
I think it might be pertinent to tell you what happened to me throughout high school, because that is a big factor in how things came to be. So to rewind a little bit, after I went through my atheism phase and went into my agnosticism phase, I had a friend group and still have a friend group of outcasts, a lot of pagans, I guess is the best way to give a broad generalization of what a good portion of them believe. I have a very dear friend of mine who actually worships Hecate,
Okay.
who is the Greek goddess of magic. I'm still very, very close with him. My friend group was more into the New Age spirituality stuff, so all of us would go to crystal shops together. We would buy a ton of tarot cards and pendulums, which is crystals hanging from chains, and we would tell each other's futures and talk to
all that kind of
spirits,
stuff.
so-called. Yeah, I was into that stuff.
All that
And that
heavy
was
stuff.
all throughout, like, the end of middle school, beginning of high school, all the way through to college.
Mm-hmm. So did you get like involved in like churches and that kind of thing when you were in Christianity, going back to that?
Um, no, not when I was in Christianity, surprisingly. When I was in my
Okay.
spiritual phase, I went to church with my aunt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I went to a few church services there and was getting into Christianity maybe a little bit there, but I would say there came a point in time where I
Mm-hmm.
started to feel very, very, very uneasy
Yeah.
um, being in spirituality and witchcraft. It was almost like something was following me, the best way to
Yes.
describe it. And for the longest time, I thought it was a demonic presence, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've come to the conclusion now that was actually an angel of God pushing me out of it. Because with demons, especially in spirituality, they like to engross you in deception. So why on earth would a demon push me away from uh, spirituality and
Mm-hmm.
into the truth? So I think it was an angel of God sent to sort of scare me out.
What kind of questions did you question anything when you were in Christianity? This is not right, or that's not right, or whatever, certain things?
I would say, and this is good because it actually bleeds over into that. Once I kind of got scared out of spirituality, I thought to myself, you know what? If this uneasy presence is demonic and demonic spirits are real, God must for sure be real. And the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I grasped onto was the Abrahamic religions. So I was like, the
Mm-hmm.
Abrahamic religions have to be true. And Islam wasn't it for me. So it boiled down to going back to my Judeo Christian roots. And as I
Mm-hmm.
was studying more and more into Christianity and Judaism, the concept of hell, I would say, would be the main point where I had to just throw up my hands and go, I can't, I can't swallow this. There's no way on earth this is true.
Yeah.
So, and it on top of that, as I've
Yeah.
stated before in previous videos, I have massive OCD,
Mm-hmm.
and not the OCD where things have to be clean, but the type of OCD where very, very disturbing, very unsettling thoughts would,
Intrusive thoughts.
oh, very
Yeah.
intrusive, um, very debilitating,
Yeah.
I would have to say. So that pushed me towards studying into the origins of hell to see if it was a thing in Judaism. It wasn't. So I was like, okay, so hell
Mm-hmm.
isn't a thing in Judaism. Why on earth does Christianity all of a sudden bring it back up? And then as I was researching into that, I came across Alan Hess's channel. And from
Yeah.
there, he explained how hell wasn't real. And at the time, I was still leaning more towards Judaism being the truth. And
Yeah.
I was only going to Alan Hess to hear him bash how hell, because I
Mm-hmm.
needed to have that reassurance that that it wasn't real. And I started listening to more videos of his, and from there, the truth sank in.
Mm-hmm.
And then from
Okay.
there, jumped to Martin Zinder's channel and Ace Theo, and then all of the other channels associated with the truth.
So what year was it, do you reckon, that you got into like Alan Hess's stuff and started listening to all that?
Beginning mid 2023. So I've actually been in the truth for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm. 2023, you started listening to Alan Hess. I thought it was
Mhm.
earlier on, that like 2015 or something, that you started looking into things a bit more, but I might be wrong. Yeah, so
In
hopefully
2015, I started to bleed out of my spirituality uh,
Mhm,
era. I would say 2015 would be the time where I'm like, maybe doing all this stuff isn't necessarily the correct thing to do. Maybe there's something to Judaism and Christianity, and I would say it started from there. But I would
mhm.
officially say that I threw up my hands. It was like, okay, this is it from 2023.
Yeah. So did you like read any like people like A. Enoch or John Essex or anything like that as you're coming into the truth?
Beforehand, no. I've just started to get into all of A.E. Knox's stuff. I've been reading his concordant commentary on the concordant website, and then I'm also considering buying his little booklet called Eternal Torment or Universal Reconciliation.
Another great one to read, a good read is, if I can find it, it's got stuff on it. It's God's Celestial Purpose by John Essex. So, yeah, that was a really good one. I haven't finished reading it yet. So, yeah, I guess it sounded like it was a bit of a quick process with you coming into the truth. Like in 2023, it sounded like it's just very quick in everything that you understood.
Yeah,
Is that right?
it was very fast because, like I
Yeah, for
said, it
me
started in
too.
2015, and it was actually more of the political shift going on in America right now that actually pushed me towards it. Because beforehand, I was very, very liberal, as you could probably surmise with me being in spirituality and stuff. And then in 2015, things started to get kind of nasty on the left hand side, which pushed me away from it. So I ended up becoming a bit more conservative. And of course, with the conservative side in America, at least, they're very, very religious, especially in Christianity.
Did you dabble in any other religions apart from what you've mentioned?
Yes, I've actually did dabble a little bit into Islam for a little
Mhm,
bit. I dabbled into Buddhism, never
mhm,
really got into Hinduism, although I do love to read the mythologies from that. I would
mhm.
say when I was in spirituality, I actually did, for a short amount of time, believe in the Greek gods and titans.
Yep. Yeah.
But aside from that, I would say my
Ooh.
main uh, false religion I was in was eclectic spirituality.
Mhm.
Hey, Ace.
Hey, Ace. How you doing?
Are you able to hear us?
I can't hear Ace. Can you hear him? Not yet. Now
Testing,
try.
testing.
Yes,
We hear
I'm
you.
good now. How
I,
you doing?
I come bearing bad news.
What?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. What's up?
The real journey of faith that God has us all walking through
Mhm.
comes with a lot of hot tears. So get ready.
Sufferings. Sufferings. We all know
That's
about
right.
them. Yep.
Oh,
See,
believe
Yep.
me, I've had a good taste of it at the beginning. I have.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not done. God's not done giving you some hot tears. But
She's been
I think,
everywhere, man. She's been in a lot of religions.
but
Yeah.
I think that it's important to keep in mind that in this journey that we're on, we
Mhm.
all, most of us in this club of this fellowship, we
Mhm.
come out of the Christian faith, and the Christian faith, they may not say it specifically, but they're always hinting that if you become a Christian, you'll avoid suffering.
Mhm.
You won't go to hell, and you might even get a new car, and all kinds of blessings. And so we just have that mentality as Christians that, if I
Mm.
do good, God will reward me.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But Paul doesn't seem to he didn't seem to get that memo.
Yeah.
He quite often says, "Get ready for hot tears." God gives us
Well, I kind
faith.
of prefer that.
God gives us
Mm.
suffering,
Suffering for his
and
sake.
and
Yep.
we fill up the deficiencies of the suffering of Christ.
In
What the
his stead.
hell does that mean? You mean
Mhm.
Christ suffered on the cross, but there was still some deficiencies left? I don't know.
Well, I guess because we're in flesh still, therefore we are the deficiencies. Like we're part of his body. So you get where I'm going with that. So because we're still in flesh, we're not perfected yet. Therefore, yeah, yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Hmm.
And I kind of agree with that because as much suffering as Christ did. I'm sure there's some experiences he didn't get a chance to fully suffer in before he ascended to heaven. So we're filling in those, I guess, side or extra experiences that weren't covered.
That's a crazy notion. It doesn't make any sense to my brain that the suffering Christ didn't suffer enough. That's a crazy notion. But, the rest of God's operation doesn't make any sense either. The fact that he would kill Christ to give us life, that doesn't make any human logical sense. If God would take, our opinion, he'd get it on, we'd be instantly perfected.
Yeah.
But
Can't wait until we are perfected.
if we were instantly perfected, there would be no reconciliation experience. Because if you're instantly perfected, if God instantly creates you perfect and holy, you wouldn't know anything about reconciliation, and you wouldn't know anything about salvation because you wouldn't have anything to be saved from.
So, Mika from Norway wants to know a little bit about you, how old you are, and what country you're from. Well, to me, I know which country you're from. She's from Florida, USA, and she's, get me, 30 years old. Is that right?
I'm going to be.
You're going to be. Okay. Soon.
Yep.
Cool. Are you an October baby? Oh, I'm hoping.
I'm a November baby, but I was almost born on Halloween.
Okay. Wow. Yep.
And to go back to what Ace was saying really quick before we jump to the next series of questions. In regards to what you were saying about it not making any human sense, I find that it's starting to make more and more sense the more I learn. The more I grow in the growth of God, the more what he's doing makes so much sense to me. And I wanted to know if that is the same for you guys.
Making sense. Everything making sense.
I'm torn between it making sense and it not having to make sense. Because in my normal human brain, I can empathize with all those atheists who say, well, if there really is a God, why don't he get it on and make us all perfect right now? Yeah, I can understand that.
It makes sense to me because God, it makes it to make sense because he gives us the faith in Christ Jesus faith to begin with to make sense. Does that make sense?
It does.
Let me go.
Hello.
I'm just gonna say hi quickly and then I'm gonna leave. So.
Yeah, she's my new co-host, Mika. So as of like 2 weeks ago. So
is this your first show?
No, we did another show. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago we did a show. So, yep.
Good to see you, Ace.
Yeah.
How are you doing, Ace?
Fine. I like your graphic.
Yeah.
Hard money versus fiat.
Have you got any questions for Taylor, Mika?
Oh, is this Taylor's time to shine?
Yeah, because it's her interview. So
I'm more than happy to share my sunshine with y'all. I'm more than happy to share the spotlight with you guys.
What state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Catherine already said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Florida Man?
No.
Yes. Do not be fooled by the Florida Man. Whenever you hear about Florida Man, there's always an asterisk after it that is Florida Man, retired from New York. Florida Man, retired from Tennessee. The Florida Man's never a native born like me. Never a native born. We get the rejects.
Is that feel like drop bears over in Australia? You guys know about the
Florida
drop bears?
Man? Oh, I know about the drop bears.
Good. They're pretty awesome and very scary.
Well, we have gators. So
no,
I don't know if it's
fictional
on the same level.
Real.
So how did you and Taylor connect?
through Ace, actually, didn't we, Taylor?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
And then I said,
Yeah,
the
we met on
culprit,
his
Ace.
channel.
yeah.
So
And
it's
then
very
I said to
fitting
her,
that Ace was on my
yeah.
interview.
And then I said to her, Taylor, why don't you come along to my streams and join in? And she said, I'd love to. So here she is. And I said, why don't you be my co-host? So, yeah, okay, cool. Sounds good, kind of thing.
So how long have you been a believer, Taylor?
I would say about a year and a half, going on 2 years now.
Okay. What brought you in?
In regards to where did I first discover the truth?
Yeah,
Or
what do
for
you
what
feel
reason
like?
I went looking for the truth?
Yeah, what do you feel like kicked you in the butt, so to say? Like what got you over the threshold?
Again, I would refer back to listening to Alan Hess's channel, because I wanted so badly to find some sort of proof that a kind, loving God would never damn his creation, or even a little bit of his creation, to a eternal hell. And then from there, I gave Alan Hess's other videos a shot, listened to them, and it just stuck. Is the best way to describe it. It's like that one thing where it's like, I was here for 2 seconds and then somehow I ended up here. It was like waking up the night after from a good party.
Okay, so I put the StreamYard link up the top of the chat. So if anybody wants to come in and ask Taylor questions, feel free, come on in and talk to Ace and Mika, me, and have a party.
Well, you guys have a great time. I'm gonna go to bed because it's
pretty late there.
Midnight here in Norway. So
yep. Thanks for dropping by, Mika.
Nice seeing
thank
a
you so much for coming in.
new name, Taylor. Hope all is well, Ace. You're a good old guy.
No.
Yes, thank you so much for coming in to say hi.
Yeah, no problem. You guys have a great time.
All right. See ya.
You as well, man. Love, grace, and peace.
Same to you all. Peace to all.
Love, grace, and peace. Anthony Pierce. Hello, Anthony.
God bless.
I've forgotten what state. Do you know what state Anthony Pierce is in, Ace? Do you remember?
He's in Idaho.
Okay. Is that near you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Taylor, since you're the star of the show, how about this for a crazy question? These days, what pisses you off about Christians the most?
I would have to say I don't have a general irk, but I am irked by the trinity of doubt that come on your channel. I would have to say Jill, PP, and JG. And what rubs me the wrong way about them sometimes is the fact that they come in when we're just trying to have Bible study. And then when we try to get things back on track, they'll claim us of detracting from their questions.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, we've already, I haven't been in the faith in this channel that long, but I have been on long enough to know their talking points. And I have been on long enough to know that they bring up these talking points a lot and have been for quite some time now. So why on earth would we spend another hour and a half show, Trinity of Doubt, talking about stuff that we've already come to the conclusion on that you and I will never agree on? We would have a more productive conversation talking about music. We'd have a more productive conversation talking about politics. I don't like that they accuse us of dodging the questions or redirecting to a different topic. when we've already talked about that topic ad nauseum. So what are you doing coming in here during our Bible study time, accusing us of stuff?
Yeah. Tim says Trinity of Doubt, great Christian band name. So Taylor, tell us, what was the first lie of Satan to go? Was it free will, immortality of your soul, hell, or what have I missed? Ace, what have I missed? Free will, immortality of the soul, the Trinity, or
Hell.
what have I missed? Hell.
You missed
whatever.
hell.
Which one was the first one for you?
Hell was the first one
Yep.
to go. I would definitely say hell was the first one to go. I've never been a Trinity believer, so that was easy to discredit. Human free will and the fact that sin is not lording over me anymore was the hardest and last one to go.
Yep. Well, okay, so free will was the last one to go.
Yeah, because it's a lie that spreads across every single religion. The very first time I heard about the non-existence of free will was from channels like this. It was so foreign to me. And it was so hard to grasp.
So you never stepped foot in a church at all?
Like I did attend
Christianity,
church maybe one or two times with my aunt, but
okay,
I wouldn't say seriously. I wouldn't say
what kind of
seriously.
church was it? Was it Pentecostal, Baptist, or Methodist church? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it definitely wasn't Baptist, but my aunt, and just so we're clear, this isn't my blood aunt. This is a family friend that is so close to me that we consider her an aunt. She's very hellfire and brimstone, so she's more of the Baptist breed, but the church that we went to was not Baptist.
Okay. So did you get into anything like speaking in tongues or anything crazy like that?
No, I never got into that.
Cool. Ace, have you got any more questions for Taylor? Anybody in the side chat? If you've got questions, now is the time to type them in the side chat. And yeah.
Tim likes my Trinity of Doubt thing.
Yes, he's big into music, so I'm not surprised that he typed that.
Yeah, and I want it to be made known, the Trinity of Doubt, I don't have any hard feelings towards them. At the same time, though, it's I do kind of find it rude that they that they make those accusations, but
they're opposers for now. Again, like I said the other day, we've got to have opposers. So
I know I was about to say they're blessings in disguise. They really are.
They actually have.
They're going to be in salvation too.
They actually have a gift of the Spirit. You know, most people they look down the list and see that the gifts of the Spirit are, you know, like speaking in tongues and the gift of love, the word of faith. Their gift of the Spirit is to try your patience. See, that's their
God's
ministry.
teaching us patience. God actually uses them to teach us patience and all sorts of other things. So it's a good thing. It's actually a good thing. All right, everyone. If you don't have any questions, we're just going to wrap this up early, and we're going to have after chat. So if you want to come in and ask questions that you don't, and you know, some people don't like to be on live streams. So click that StreamYard link. I'll post it up again, even though I've pinned it. And yeah, come on in. So come and talk to us. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And love, grace, and peace from Australia and Florida, USA, and Ace, Utah. I got that. All right. Ciao for now.